sidewalk repair program in Toledo. WTOL 11 gets answers as to why. Plus, problem solved for some people who say their homes are valued way too high. The new bill and what's next for those still fighting back. Chris?
We're looking at that next storm system that is already on the horizon, highlighting an alert day Saturday afternoon and evening. It is going to bring some snow and a wintry mix back into the area. We'll have the full timing of this and what some of the impacts are expected to be. That's coming up.
Thanks for joining us on WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Marantet. Let's take a look at your top stories for the night. We are continuing our coverage of the Lucas County's property reevaluation problems. The auditor says a software error led to the value of more than 1,400 homes to be overinflated. Now, WTOL 11 has learned the problem has been solved, but only for some people. Mohammed Kadora was shocked to see the value of his home jumped from $478,000 to more than $1.8 million. Kadora filed for an informal review in the fall. That was denied. His home value has now been readjusted by the Board of Revision to just more than $678,000. Kadora says he is glad the auditor's office fixed the problem, but still feels the value is high, so he plans to file a formal review.
We would like to see more in-depth review. We would like to see why the error happened. Is it like system? Is it electronic system error? And how that's going to be fixed, how that's going to be avoided in the future. Actually, I think they should be looking also at the, denial process.
The auditor's office has sent letters to all 1,441 impacted homes. We can expect another update from the office tomorrow. Toledo City Council passed the city's budget plan for the year just last week, but some members are upset at what's not on the list, including a sidewalk repair program. Silver Barker has the story.
You know, our sidewalk there is sinking further in. There's a big gap that's getting bigger. You know, it's a mess.
A mess in an eyesore is what Toledo resident Jane Pettigene refers to as the sinking hole in front of her house. She says it's even caused her husband trouble.
So he was out mowing the lawn and didn't see the sinkhole that was developing, and he fell into the sinkhole and hurt his leg and was all bruised up and he had lacerations.
She says the hole's been here for nearly a year now. She tells me she's contacted the city, but all they did was put 2 orange barrels on top of the hole. Pettigene believes her Old West End neighborhood could benefit from a sidewalk repair program.
As somebody who goes out walking every day, I walk the streets of this neighborhood, and the sidewalks are just a mess everywhere. So it's a huge issue here.
And neighbors agree.
It's an old neighborhood. There are places where the tree roots have come and heaved up the sidewalks and made cracks and things.
It was Councilman George Sarantu who recommended we go out to this neighborhood, as he says it's one of many in need of sidewalk repairs.
I travel all over the city of Toledo in different neighborhoods, and some of those sidewalks are really horrible, not only from trees, roots buckling the sidewalk, but also just because of the age of some of these sidewalks.
Sarantu says he's disappointed that this will be the second year with no plan to fix the sidewalks. He sent a written referral to the mayor's office asking why there isn't a program and if they can change that.
With the small amount of money that people are going to be paying each year, it does make sense to get these sidewalks fixed. The longer we delay a sidewalk replacement program, the worse those sidewalks are going to get.
That was Silver Barker reporting. Some people living in the Old West End say they have mixed feelings. They understand the safety concerns, but want the area to keep some of its historic values, like the cobblestone sidewalks that haven't been replaced yet. We did reach out to the mayor's office for comment, but are still waiting to hear back. Right now, Arlington Avenue is shut down near South Detroit in Toledo. The city tells WTOL 11 it is working to secure a contractor to repair a sinkhole right there. It's unclear when the street will reopen. People living in the neighborhood told us last month the hole has been around for months and that the city came out last year to patch it up, but it's sunk in again. And there's another section starting to fall in as well. A superintendent is looking to expand a school safety program. The goal, adding more resource officers. Washington Local Schools says it currently has one full-time officer inside the school, but Superintendent Christine Martin says she hopes to add another. Toledo police officer Prince Flores is a former school resource officer. He says police in that role can build relationships with students and help create trust.
The biggest key in that is making sure that we're there as a mentor, as a leader, as a friend. Yes, our job as police is to enforce the law, but we also want to make sure that we are the first point of contact that you have.
You never know what you prevent by having resource officers and that rapport with our kids. So a lot of times that's really what it is. They're go-to, they help. A lot of times kids go to them, even things that are happening outside of school or in their personal lives.
School resource officers also have the ability to arrest anyone who might be breaking the law in the school, but according to Martin, that rarely happens because officers do such a good job being proactive before it reaches that level. Harrisburg school board members are meeting tonight to talk about the district's plans to redraw the boundaries for its elementary schools. Superintendent Tom Hostler tells us the plan is under consideration as a way to save money. He says that change would allow the kids to move to schools that have more room, not necessarily those that are close to where the students live. We'll have an update on the meeting tonight at 11 o'clock. Chris?
All right, Kaylee, we're going to dive into our weather and another alert day that's going to be out there into the weekend. First things first, though, a few slippery spots possible tonight, mainly just due to the refreeze of any water that had tried to melt away after the freezing rain and sleet that came into the area early Thursday morning. So refreeze going to be possible. Temperatures going to be falling back into the lower 20s, so heads up to that. If you step out the door first thing, it could be that first step that's the dangerous one early in the morning. 23 degrees, much cooler feel, partly to mostly cloudy skies for that morning bus stop. By about lunchtime, some sun peeks out, outdoor recess. Probably a good possibility for our day on Friday, and then close to 30 degrees as we get to the afternoon hours on Friday. Right around the low 30s, we're going to dip back into the 20s overnight tonight for lows, and we do expect we're going to have dry conditions across the area. Even with the front swinging into the area, it kicks the breeze up, but should keep us mainly dry across northwest Ohio. Next up, bigger storm system, and it will impact your weekend plans. I'll be honest with you, this is not a major winter storm, but it's got our attention with snow, ice, and sleet that will bring some impacts to travel. So let's break that down as we look at a storm system that comes again across the Ohio River Valley. That's going to put us in the prime position for at least some snow, some sleet, and some ice. Now, the distribution of this more likely to be snow north of Toledo and across extreme northern Ohio, which could include parts of the Toledo metro. Ice is going to be more likely south of the Toledo metro, could even be sleet and freezing rain yet again. So at this point, our weather impact, what we're going to be looking at with this system, we're going to put it around a level 3 out of 5, not the biggest of storms, but something that has our attention for slippery roads that will become likely. Snow and sleet accumulations with ice, the most greatest possibility south of Toledo. Now, just to hint at that, snow to the north is more likely, a glaze of ice down to the south. And it does bring up the question, when we see this type of precipitation, freezing rain or sleet, how do we actually tell the difference between it? So let's talk donuts, my favorite. Freezing rain is like a glazed donut. Quickly becomes covered and very icy, slippery conditions. When we're talking sleet, though, sleet is actually like sprinkles of ice that would go on top of a donut. It isn't nearly as slippery, and we actually saw both last night into early Thursday morning, that glaze of ice, freezing rain, and then sleet that went on top of it. Again this weekend, both of those will be possible. Now you know the difference and probably hungry for donuts. Temperatures tomorrow morning back in the lower 20s. Highs into the afternoon going to head toward 30 degrees. And my extended 10-day forecast puts Friday right around 30 degrees, partly sunny skies. Alert day for the second half of the day on Saturday. Saturday afternoon and evening, that's when travel will become a bit dicey and icy. We're just giving you the heads up on that. And right around 30 on Sunday and 30 degrees early next week into Monday. A few days that drop back into the upper 20s Tuesday and Wednesday. And then snow chances. Still got our eyes on this Wednesday into Thursday. It's the potential that could be some accumulating snow. Far too early to tell, but it is out there in the distant horizon as we go into the middle of February. Kaylee, back over to you.
February is American Heart Month. It's a time to raise awareness about heart disease and its impact on families. One family from Monclova Township is doing its part. And not just by sharing their story, but by turning their tragedy into something meaningful. Steve Iwanek has a story of how a young life, though short, continues to inspire.
Josh and Jackie Ramey's son Carson was born in August of 2020. He lived just 3 months, but his story is far from over. Though his parents lost him to a congenital heart defect, they found a way to honor him while helping others facing the same struggles.
For us, it's carrying on his memory, how proud we were of him.
A short life, but an impact that will last forever.
He fought really hard for 3 months for us, and that's a big deal.
Carson Ramey was born on August 10, 2020 at ProMedica Children's Hospital, weighing just under 4 pounds.
Just a little peanut, so we like to call him our little peanut.
His parents, Josh and Jackie, say even as a newborn, Carson's presence was felt. His little eyes would light up a room.
He made the nurses laugh, he made us laugh. He would follow, like if we were talking or reading a book, he would definitely follow us with his eyes.
Loved sound books.
Oh yeah.
But Carson's life was cut short due to a condition called hypoplastic right heart syndrome, a birth defect where the right side of his heart didn't develop properly.
We found out about his heart defect before he was born. It was at our 21-week ultrasound. Fortunately, since it was COVID, he wasn't allowed to be there with me, so finding that out by myself was very difficult.
Remember that day that she went in for that ultrasound, just looking up at the clock, and I'm like, all right, it's an hour's passed, 2 hours have passed, and got a phone call, and it's one that you never want to get.
Carson's condition, though rare, is one of the most common congenital heart defects in the world. The CDC says in the U.S. approximately 40,000 babies are born with congenital heart disease, or CHD, each year. Some heal themselves. Others, like Carson, need multiple operations. For this little peanut, it was 3 open heart surgeries and countless nights in the hospital.
Just trying to be there, and a lot of nights on a chair in a hospital room.
But on the evening of November 20th, 2020, Carson lost his life.
It's devastating. It's hard to kind of move on, and fortunately you do have to move on with life and go back to work and still socialize, and it's hard.
Still, Josh and Jackie found a way to keep their son's spirit alive. In March of 2022, they founded the Carson Ramey Foundation, not only to remember their son, but to help others who are facing the same struggles. They've donated hundreds of weighted frog positioners to heart patients at local hospitals, comfort items that help calm babies and keep their IVs in place.
Particularly for Carson, it helped with comfort. It also helped prevent him from trying to pull out his tubes and IVs, because anytime he had a chance, his little hand would sneak up and try to pull that out.
So far, they've donated more than 600 to 3 hospitals, and they continue to raise money through their annual golf outing. Because even though Carson's time here was cut short, his legacy lives on in every family they help.
I think he would just be kind of glad that we're still keeping his memory alive and helping other babies, so I think we'd be proud.
If you'd like to support the Carson Ramey Foundation, you can find more information and donate through the links on our website at WTOL.com. And if you're interested in participating in the 2025 golf outing, it's set for August 9th at Whiteford Valley Golf Club. Steve Iwanek, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks, Steve. Tomorrow is National Wear Red Day for Heart Month, and a local company donated 30 CPR kits to the YWCA in recognition of Heart Month. Each kit comes with a device and a dummy so people can learn how to perform CPR. There were also demonstrations on how to use them. The company that donated the equipment wants to make sure that everyone who wants to learn CPR can.
Many events happen outside of a hospital setting, and so being able to perform CPR and having someone around you perform CPR is just a difference maker in terms of saving a life.